Hello, I'm Donald Leggett and welcome to the latest London South East CEO interview. I'm joined today by David Price, CEO of AIM-listed Rockfire Resources, which, as you may well know, is a gold and copper exploration company operating in Queensland, Australia, and it has a portfolio of 4 100% owned assets. Last week, a 200,000 ounce JORC mineral resource was announced at Bell Rock in Queensland, with the possibility of it becoming a viable open-cut gold mine. Here to discuss all this is CEO David Price, who joins us from Australia. Welcome, David.
G'day, Donald. How are you?
Well, it's early and misty with me, and I presume it's later and less so with you.
Yes, mid-afternoon here, and probably around 30 degrees here at the moment in Perth in Australia, so quite a nice day.
That's ridiculous. So how's lockdown affected you then, David? You just work from Perth, Australia?
Yes, I work from Perth anyway, so lockdown hasn't really affected me here in Perth. It's only been the last 5 days, and tomorrow is our final day, fingers crossed, and we'll be out of lockdown again on the weekend. So we'll hopefully we'll beat this thing.
That sounds great. So if we could start the interview by asking you to paint us a picture of the 4 main gold and copper assets which you hold in Queensland.
Sure. As you mentioned, Donald, Rockfire owns all of its assets 100%, and that's a great place for the company to be for a start. The other attributing factor to Rockfire is that all of our projects are about 220 kilometres apart. So we've actually got very good access between all of our projects. So we have 4 projects. We have Lighthouse, which is copper silver. We have the Copperhead and Copper Dome porphyry copper projects, and we have the Marengo gold projects. All of these, as I mentioned, are in Queensland, Australia. And when you look at geology of gold and copper deposits, they all occur at various depths, emplacement depths. And what we're looking at is a whole range of near-surface deposits right through to deep-seated porphyry copper deposits. So Rockfire has got the whole spectrum of deep-seated projects, near-surface projects, and high-level epithermal projects all in its portfolio. So it's a tremendous asset base that we've got. We're geographically focused, we're commodity focused, and it's a great portfolio that we've put together there.
The headline news from you is that last week you announced a major upgrade to the JORC mineral resource from Bell Rock from those soil samples. What did that feel like?
Well, the JORC mineral resource at Plateau, we were very happy with those numbers, Donald. It was tremendous to come out with those numbers, and very happy that the average grade is being maintained there throughout the whole deposit at Plateau. More importantly, we're focused on the near-surface gold. There's a lot of near-surface gold, and we've got over 50,000 ounces of near-surface gold. And the aim now in the short term is to try and look at how economic is that really likely to be. We don't have a feel for that yet. We haven't put any economic parameters around that 50,000 ounces. And there are 2 prongs that we will do in the short term. And by short term, I mean in the next 6 months. What we'll do is to drill out the near-surface resources to bring them up to a higher confidence category of JORC. At the moment, we have quite a bit about 30% of those resources are in the inferred category. Inferred resources can't be used in feasibility studies. So we need to lift the confidence level to the indicated as a minimum. We'll drill those resources out, and as well as that, we're going to look at repetitions of the structures 200 metres north and 200 metres south of Plateau. We've got high-grade rocks at the surface there. So we'll explore them in conjunction with the infill drilling. So we've got a fair bit of work still to do there, but every bit of work that we do in the next 6 months is simply building resource ounces. And that's what we want to do near surface. And that then provides the opportunity for greater economics.
So looking to the future, David, is 200,000 ounces of gold going to be big enough to make a viable mine for you?
Well, 200,000 ounces is the global resource for all of Plateau. And as I just mentioned, we are focused on the near-surface component of that 200,000 ounces. The average grade of the 200,000 ounces is about 0.6 grams gold And what we're looking at is the 50,000 ounces near surface gold, which is averaging about 1.5 grams or 1.2 grams gold, sorry. So it's a much better grade. It's a potentially economic grade at 1.2 grams, but of course, we're yet to put the economic parameters around that. So that's still to be determined, and we'll work towards that over the next 6 months.
More work to be done.
Correct.
Okay, you own 100% of all your assets, always a nice place to be in. It does mean you fund all the exploration costs yourself, however. So is the work program for 2021 fully funded?
Well, it's fully funded for the work we have planned. So we've got sufficient capital to do our HeliMag program at Copper Dome, which is one of our big porphyry copper projects. So we've already informed the market that we intend to do that HeliMag program. We also have informed the market that we want to do shallow resource definition drilling at Plateau. So those two things are funded, and our funding requirements are always driven by exploration program pace. If we decide to push the button and put the pedal down faster and drill more and really try to accelerate things, then of course your burn rate increases. So we keep a very close eye on that, but at the moment we are funded for the work we have planned.
Okay, let's turn to Copperhead, which, as the name suggests, is a copper exploration, as you told us in the introduction. Talk us through that, the Copperhead work program and the time frame for Copperhead.
So Copperhead is our big porphyry copper project. It was drilled in 1972 by Carpentaria Exploration. Carpentaria Exploration drilled 5 diamond drill holes, and they weren't slouches. They went on to become Mount Isa Mines Exploration. So they've got a very good pedigree there. And the 5 holes that they drilled was to a maximum depth of 300 metres. And the geological logs record visible copper minerals throughout the 300 metres of core. Back in the day, in the 1970s, they literally took a 1 metre sample every 30 metres down the hole, and they ignored the rest of the core. It was the way that porphyry coppers were explored in the 70s. So most of that core is unsampled. Unfortunately, we don't have access to that core. We have looked. We've checked all of the surrounding properties. We've checked up on site. We've checked the Mineral Resources Department. We've checked the government departments. That core doesn't exist. So it does mean that we come back to drill that again. But in the meantime, as we mentioned to the market recently, we've just completed our HeliMag survey at Copperhead. And that has been fantastic because it doubled the size of the target for us. It also defined very nicely the structures that we've been looking at. And it will define our primary drill direction. So that's what we plan to do is that we'll do drilling at Copperhead, and we look forward to doing that within the next 6-month period.
Okay, and let's turn to my last question, my final question, the Marengo, which is a gold field. Put that in context for us and tell us how the search for farm-in partners is coming along there.
Sure. Look, Marengo is a great asset. We actually don't want to let it go, and the structure that we're looking for is for a partner to come in on a farm-in basis where they fund the exploration and they actually advance the project while we retain equity in the project. We've got a lot of faith in Marengo. At surface, some of the rock samples that have been collected historically are about 149 grams per tonne gold. And up to 17% copper. So there's some beautiful grades at surface there. There's about 23 old gold mines in the Marengo gold field. It used to be inhabited by about 200 people during the gold rush days back then. So look, it's a great gold field. We still love Marengo. It's not an unloved asset. It's just that we would prefer to put our money and our human resources into Lighthouse and into our porphyry copper projects. So Marengo is still a great asset. We are searching for partners, and we're welcoming advances from people coming in and farming into that project, and looking forward to advancing it. So you will hear more about it as it goes on.
And how's that search coming along, David?
Oh, look, so far so good. A few little nibbles, and we'll advance them as they come through and see how that progresses. But early days yet, Donald.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much indeed for joining us from Australia, David. That's David Price, CEO at Rockfire Resources. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. And if you are a rock investor, then the London South East Company Bulletin Board, I've checked it out yesterday. It's a particularly friendly one. Feel free to go on and leave some messages after looking at this interview, or please do follow us on Twitter at London South East. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to see regular interviews like this one. We do pretty much one every day or two. Thank you for watching and stay safe.